Welcome back to Dishonored 2, You Only Live Once. Before we get started, I need to talk about a game bug I discovered after recording this episode. In the last episode, I took a small amount of damage, and when I loaded the save game, that damage was gone. I did some testing on another save slot, and as far as I can tell, it appears to be a consistent bug in how the game handles the vitality upgrade that increases your max health. In short, if the amount of damage you have is smaller than the increase you get from vitality, the game seems to forget that damage the next time you load your save. I have to assume that the game is in some way applying the vitality upgrade after it loads your current health, and since your current health was equal to or greater than the normal maximum, it wrongly assumes that you're unhurt and sets your health to max. Now, obviously this is unacceptable for the YOLO challenge, and thankfully I'm learning this early on so I can account for it. I tested on another save slot, and found that there's a spot I can jump from on the Dreadful Whale that will cause just the right amount of falling damage. So beginning with episode 4, I'll be doing that in order to ensure that my health is correct. For now though, I wanted to address this head on so that no one looks at my health bar in this episode and wonders why it's full. And with that out of the way, let's get started. In the last episode, we made our way to the edge of the world and cleared out all opposition in the map. We also took our first hit of the run, but received minimal damage thanks to the Witch's Skin Corrupt Bone Charm, which effectively treats our mana pool as a shield that gets depleted before our health. And even after getting hit, that damage was still avoidable if I'd been keeping my mana topped off. I generally only use an elixir when I need to, and if we'd had full mana, we would have taken 0 damage from my mistake. So I'm going to have to remember to keep my mana as full as possible, even if it means wasting elixirs. I should also remember that I have a Bone Charm, which replenishes mana when killing rats or bloodflies, but until we can craft a 4x version of that, it does very little. But what's done is done, and there's no reloading the autosave. I couldn't even if I wanted to in Iron Mode, and if we pull up the difficulty options, you'll see that this can't be changed after the game starts. In this run, I live with my choices and my mistakes. If you're a chronic quicksaver, this rule set will cure you of it. That said, you might be wondering why I got back out of the carriage. While editing the footage of the last episode, I noticed that I'd forgotten a few things. Nothing mandatory, just supplies that I'd prefer not to leave behind. First, I burned this nest in the bloodfly-infested apartment, but never looted that room, so let's grab some money and these incendiary bolts for the road. And second, back by the docks, there's another sunken boat. You can just barely see the corner of it there. This one I forgot simply because I usually skip it. As I told you, I'm thalassophobic, and jumping in this water really spikes my anxiety. But since a lot of people might not know this is here, and I do want the elixir, I'm taking one for the team. Finally, I'm going to top off elixirs at the black market shop, then let's check our mission stats and be on our way to Addermire. Okay, and unsurprisingly I've got that one kill from the guard at the Wall of Light, and not so concerned about the stealth options. And excellent, looks like I got all of the mandatory items, fantastic, and most of the coins as usual. And finally, for special actions, we did Mindy's side quest to get the carriage rails turned off, we explored Hypatia's apartment, we opened the shopkeeper's safe and got the bone charm within, we put the nest keeper in the bloodfly-infested apartment to sleep, and finally, most importantly in my mind, we saved the merchant from incineration at the Wall of Light by putting those 2 guards to sleep as well. Unfortunately, the merchant ended up kicking one of those guards into the Wall of Light itself due to a bit of physics jankery, but, you know, that's why we're not doing a no-kill run. Let's move on. And after a short but scenic carriage ride, we're here at Addermire Station. And immediately, I'm going to drop off of here because there's a bone charm right below us. Electrical burst. Okay. That will be useful later. I am not sure if it actually affects the area of effect of stun mines before you have the AoE upgrade, or if it affects the range when you don't, but we'll find out. Now there's a couple guards in here who are about to have a conversation. We'll get close enough to trigger that. And then pass a little bit of time by grabbing some coins here. Let's see, where's that other one? Hard to see in here. Ah, there it is. If you're wondering what these fish are for, if you turn that crank, it will fill it up with water, and if you have possession by now, then you can use a fish to swim in there and get up into the kitchen. It's an interesting way in, but not super useful.
dawn, smudges of blood on the windows.
As soon as these guards finish their conversation, one of them has kind of come wandering out here.
Or eight from Pandicia. Keeps me up at night just thinking about it.
As soon as he gets a little bit of distance, we're just going to drop on top of him. I like to do that before he gets in place because he likes to hang out with his back up against these boxes, and sometimes enemies who have their backs against things are really difficult to do a choke on.
Something unsavory going on. I am getting good.
Good night. Grab that pouch. I believe there's a coin over here. Yeah. I want to avoid going in the lobby quite yet, because that's going to trigger a whole bunch of things. So, blink over here. And slip over behind this guard. And drag him away a little bit as I choke him. Not strictly necessary, because unless you really mess up, no one's ever going to come out here.
This part of the facility's been abandoned for a while.
Indeed. And it looks it. I can never quite remember exactly which of these lockers have stuff and which don't, so I'll just search them all individually. There we go, got that coin. And a pouch over here. And finally, there is a stun mine tucked way back here, but we're full on them right now, so remember that's there. And that window is the only way in here since it's blocked, but now it's open. And we're still not close enough to trigger conversations, which is good because I want to blink up here and do something else first. I think, yeah, there's some bathing salts in there. Safe code 993. Okay. The safe holds an incredibly important upgrade. Behold the combat sleep dart formula. It's going to make our sleep darts instant, which is absolutely key.
A victim of the Crown Killer, no doubt.
Indeed. And we'll grab his letter, and it's just something from his loved one asking him to be safe and not get into anything. Turns out that that guard knew too much, so that's really too bad for him. But finding that is one of the key pieces of evidence needed for one of the special actions. Now, as soon as we get close enough over here, there's going to be another conversation that's going to trigger.
You've been working here for months. You know Dr. Hypatia's office is off limits to you.
I'm begging you. It would only take a few hours.
Now, there's 4 guards in here. There's that guy over there. There's a guy in there typing up a report, and there's these 2 here. And they're harassing this poor woman, and in a moment here, they're going to knock her out. And that's okay. We actually want that, because it's going to make her not be a target for what comes next.
But there's nothing I can do. Dr. Hypatia doesn't accept patients anymore, and the Institute is under the Grand Guard Authority. Apparently, you can't be trusted to do your job without creating problems.
Please, I can't lose another child. Where is Dr. Hypatia?
Lock her up until further notice.
What? No! My children need me! Let me go!
As soon as she's unconscious...
That sounded like broken glass.
Now, you might recall we got the upgrade that lets the stun mine fire 3 times. That's going to take care of 3 of the 4 guards, and depending on what the 4th does next, we'll handle them in one of a few ways. Okay, so that's 3 of them down, and the other guy's walking around from the office. At least he's supposed to. Oh, he is quite unobservant today. Okay. Well, that just makes things a little bit easier. Night, buddy. And there's a spare sleep dart in here. Remember, that's there. I'm just going to take a moment to clean up my mess. Oh, she's dead. Interesting. Wonder how that happened. I sure hope that doesn't count against us, but, well, nothing to be done about it if it does. And we'll grab this painting while we're here.
Zirconos.
And we'll deal with him in time, don't you worry. Okay, and lastly, let's see what the bone charm here is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that... I cannot believe the luck. Spirit water. Drinking from a fountain restores mana. Yes. All the yes. This is, in my opinion, the single most OP bone charm in the game, and I'll show you why here in a moment. Faucets of any kind are everywhere. And if we just take a few pulls at it, our mana is fully refilled. And that's just with the basic bone charm. Once we get into bone charm crafting and craft a 4x version of it where it stacks 4 of the same trait, that's going to be absolutely insane. You can just with a couple of pulls refill your entire mana bar. That is a literal game changer. And there's no exaggeration. That is a game changer. That is going to drive a lot of how I do things for the rest of the playthrough. Okay. Well, that also means that I can be a bit more generous with my mana usage, which is good since we've got that witch's skin upgrade. Now, for the moment, I don't want to go any further inside the normal way. A blink up here. And do be careful. You want to be in stealth mode walking around up here because if you walk around or sprint around, there are people below who you will alert. They'll hear it. And just a handful of coins back here in this cozy little spot. Okay. Now, there's a couple of guards in here who are having a rather lengthy conversation you normally have to wait for. What I like to do is just sprint past. That's going to alert them, but not enough so that it counts as a detection, and not enough for them to really freak out. However, what it will do is interrupt their conversation, and cause them to both come out here at about the same time. And I'll wait till I can see both of them. Okay. And momentarily, they'll both go to sleep. And while I wait for that, let's blink up here and see what... Oh. Oh. So, I'm probably going to curse myself by saying this, but this run is blessed. Absolutely blessed. Spirit water and now hardiness. Maximum health is increased. That is possibly one of the single most important bone charms that I could have gotten. Yeah, look at the health bar now. It's up to full. That's incredible. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sorry I'm a bit speechless. That puts everything in a much better light now. Much better. Holy cow. Alright, well, while I'm up here, let's hold the elevator up. That'll be useful later. And while I'm up here, there's a handful of important things up in this terrace, and you can sprint around here. Nobody will even remotely hear it. Okay, now let's grab a couple runes from the outsider, but I'm going to skip his conversation. And you can see that the amount that's restored by the charm for killing rats or bloodflies, it's absolutely minimal. I'm not going to sit here and refill my entire mana bar that way this time, because there's plenty of elixirs in this map, but just know that it is a thing. It's a little bit slow when you only have the 1x version of the Bone Charm, but once you stack 4 of the same trait in the same Bone Charm, just a handful pulls and you're done, back up to full mana in seconds. Alright, now here in Hypatia's office, there's a handful of things you want to do. Don't miss this book on the floor. That's another one of the pieces of evidence that you need for the special action later.
Duke Bell seemed overprotective at first, but increasingly, I'm a prisoner in my own lab. Soldiers stationed.
Okay, I believe that's everything. Yeah.
Even then, I feel like I'm being watched. What really saddens me is the loss of my work.
Now be careful as you come down here. There's a handful of guys just below us who are dicing. As soon as we close these doors, no sound will propagate.
This is twisted.
And as usual, there is plenty of explosive liquid in here, so that you don't need to spend your incendiary darts, but I like to use them for the ones that are up high anyway. It just saves a lot of fiddling. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. Sometimes the bloodflies are a little fussy, and they get right in the way of the darts. That's fine though. There's plenty of them, and like I said, plenty of flammable boo-boos that we can use to take out the ones that are at ground level. In fact, more than you will ever need unless your aim is really bad. That's gone. We'll grab some whalebone. And yeah, you can see there's more rum in here. There's also a couple of chloroform bottles. Take these and stage them by the entrance. They will come in handy. But that is only the beginning. Welcome to the motherlode of chloroform. There are enough bottles in here to knock out every single person in the map. And we are, in fact, going to be abusing the hell out of those to do exactly that. But the little one-off ones I'm going to drop over here so they're easy to get at. Oof. Or I'm going to run over one of them, that's fine. Glad it doesn't cause damage. And let's see... Fencer, that is not so useful, no. Oh well. Like I said, once we get into bone charm crafting, any that are not actually useful to use can be broken down for raw material whalebone, which we will be using a whole lot of. Alright. Now, there's a few ways to go about this. What I like to do is just toss a bottle right over there.
That sounded like broken glass.
Just check what that was.
Probably nothing, but I'll be right back.
Okay, good. That took out the 2 there. And then that's going to take out the 3rd guy who rushes over. That was quite lucky. There is a bit of flammable booze here, and more often than not, if you knock them out while they're in place, one of them will fall over on it and they will all burn to death. So it's nice that that didn't happen. Okay, let's grab another here. Actually, before I go any further, before I forget, just want to make sure that I grab the handful of valuables in this room. And take a few drinks while I'm here. Anytime you have spirit water, you'll get in the habit of just hitting a faucet anytime you pass by one, because it only takes a moment, and it will keep you topped off. I blinked there because I have sometimes been seen by the guys who are... or rather by the guard who's on the other side of that door. He paces around a bit until you start his conversation. Which I am going to do right now. I'm going to move forward just a moment. That should start the conversation. I'll back off.
Is Hamilton in there? How is he?
He's losing it. Yelling nonsense for hours.
Could you understand any of it?
Something about being attacked by a monster one night. Some beast that wanted to scoop the brains out of his skull.
I see. Keep this to yourself, will you? No need to spread silly rumors.
Of course, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's find out if I can make him see reason.
I don't think you're going to be doing that. I have to be very quick about that because once she goes in there, she's basically going to kill him.
Why?
And if he notices anything happen, then he will freak out and not talk to you.
You're Hamilton? Why did they lock you up? You know something?
I swear, I know what I saw. Hooded. I just caught a glimpse. So much hate in the eyes. As if the world needed more of that. I'm not seeing things.
And as you might imagine, he was one of the witnesses to the Crown Killer.
I need to go back to my room. They took my key.
Don't worry, I got your key now, and we're going to take care of things for you, buddy.
I don't know.
Yeah, you see, there's so many elixirs in here. I really don't even need to be doing all the sipping that I am. But now that I have spirit water, I'm going to want to stay in that habit. And we'll quietly drop this guy.
Me too. Stench.
We got there. Nothing worth fussing about. Alright, let's grab another chloroform bottle. So we want 2 for what I'm about to do. I think there's, yeah, the copper wire in there. And again, since I do have so much mana available to me, I'm going to be rather generous with my blinking, just to save time. All right. So we've got 3 guards right here and another 2 that wander.
I'm bored. What was that?
That's going to take out all 3 that are right there.
Someone over there?
And if we're...
Just need to make sure.
He just saw me, so I had to do that, but I was going to see if I could wait and get both of them. That's fine. There's one last one there. If he comes over here, I'll drop assassinate, or rather drop takedown him. Otherwise, I've got a sleep dart, and there are plenty more in the level. Ah, there he is. Okay. Now let's go grab another chloroform bottle. Okay, good. Mana's full. We're out of sleep darts, but that's fine. Like I said, there's more replacements.
Wait here.
I guess Dr. Hypatia's not seeing patients anymore.
was having trouble getting it attached there for a moment. Oh, wrong thing. Oof. Okay. That was... I thought that that window was already open, but apparently not, so that guard's dead. That was poorly done. I was trying to lob this through the window to take out the dogs in it. What? Okay, the dog came out, and I'm glad we had full mana. Holy cow. Holy cow. Okay. Let's just make sure there are no others in there. Okay. That could have been a very, very bad mistake. That could have been a run-ending mistake without Witch's Skin. Wow. Okay. I've taken that approach many times and never had that happen, so, let that be a lesson. And I believe there's a handful of things in here. Yeah, not in there, though. Okay. And after all that, let's go say hi to the deepest sleeper in all the Isles. And sleep he will continue to do. That gets us a replacement sleep dart, and we don't need his letter to family. We'll leave him to his privacy. Well, that's just unfortunate. Let's grab another replacement sleep dart here. And since nobody should hear... Was I wrong? Thought I just heard an alert sound. Maybe not. Okay. And everybody in here should be dealt with, so we'll grab this rune.
Leave me alone. Guard! Someone!
Oops. Oops. Wrong key, but that's fine. Wow. Yep, that's a thing. That's a thing I did. So what I'm supposed to do there is sneak up behind both of them. She's supposed to be over here doing stuff, and he's supposed to be right there, and that didn't happen, so, yeah. Oops. I sure hope that does not fuck up my chaos. It should be fine as long as I can take out Hypatia non-lethally. But oof. Big oof. I think having good luck with those bone charms is maybe a little bit sloppy and cocky here, and I definitely need to keep that in check. Okay, let's, there's a handful more guards out here that I need to deal with.
Huh?
Okay, buddy. Okay. Alright, and now these three over here are just having a nice chat, but as soon as they alert, if I toss this right at their feet,
The Grand Palace? I wonder who that was.
Whoa! What was that?
they should all go to sleep. Alright, good, that's all dealt with. And I don't believe there's anything else out here. Now let's grab one more chloroform bottle. And hope that it does not clip the edge of this this thing I'm standing on, which it so often does. Because apparently that's just a thing that happens. I hate that so much. Oh my god. I'm not sure why that happens. It very clearly should have gone past the edge, but whatever. Let's hope I can catch them while they're still both together. Never mind. Never mind. I honestly do not know why that happens, because sometimes it does, and sometimes it does not. I mean, we've got plenty of chloroform bottles, and we're almost done with them, so I'm not too concerned about it, but that's still really annoying. Let's see if I just drop it. Nope, nope, nope. Apparently not. So, can I do this? Not effectively. Oh, Dishonored. You are so good at so many things, but not that. Okay, well, I usually have much better luck with taking those two out in that manner, but that's fine. I'll just find another way for it. It's two guards. They're not that big of a threat. While we're up here, let's get into Hamilton's room, grab the other blueprint, and probably some replacement. I'll grab a oh, don't need it. Never mind. And his diary, which I believe is the last piece of evidence needed. All right, well, let's see. We've got 2 chloroform bottles left here, and I think more elsewhere. And 2 is all we really need if we're going to take out those 2 the same way. And still have 1 left for another set. In fact, just so that I can make sure that I do the necessary first. And she's going to continue making that sound effect because I stomped on her while I was in the middle of choking. Okay.
That's the watchtower.
Now, there's a couple guards out here, and this guy at the edge, pretty much if you do anything, he will fall off. But if you interact with him, it's your fault. However, if he just happens to be startled, it is not your fault. Okay. And while I'm here, what I should have done earlier while I was up here. Don't need it. Good. And I believe as far as collectibles, we're just down to, yeah, the corrupt bone charm in Hypatia's lab and the rune that we will get at once we've taken care of those two guys, so that they won't be alerted by the elevator dropping. I think let's grab this last chloroform bottle, and I've got a sleep dart in case I need it. Yeah.
I'll be damned. That sounded like broken glass.
Okay, now I am not sure if I managed to get him in the gas radius. Sounded like his voice line cut off, but that might have just been from closing the door. So what I'm going to do is run back up here and get a bird's eye view of what's going on. Yep, got both of them. Excellent. Okay. And I think that is most of the guards in the level. However, at the very least... Actually, you know what? Before I do anything else, let's go take care of Hypatia. And before we talk to her, I want to make sure to loot her lab.
What was I working with?
Actually, it occurs to me that you don't actually need to talk to her at all. Look at all these elixirs. All right. And let's talk to this poor chap here.
What's wrong with you?
Dr. Hypatia did this. She's the crown killer. But she's not herself. Figure out how to make the counter serum help her. The safe code is 587.
And jump scare warning.
I've always wondered what your flesh tastes like, my dear assistant.
She's gone. What happened?
Okay, so 587. 587, he says. And thankfully, the crown killer will never leave that lab. So at this point, we are free to just run out here and deal with the problem. Let's grab these things here. Handful of valuables. Oh, was it 587?
Let's see what's in here. Vasco's notes.
I finally understand it. There's a part of Hypatia that she doesn't even know about. It's always there, riding along in her mind, takes over.
I hope this works.
And me too, because that's really gross.
If I'm right, sends her out on diabolical assignments. Hypatia is the one the newspapers are calling the crown killer. She leaves and comes back. Leaving.
Animation is slightly misaligned. Always has been.
But there's a cure. A counter serum. I'll try to administer it once I get my notes from the safe in disease treatment. Hello? Oh, Alexandria. I was just... No. It's you.
Yes, Vasco, my love. You're found out, and now we have some experiments to conduct. Come,
It's ready.
I'll make you comfortable.
Alright. Let's make sure that my mana is completely topped off, just in case anything goes wrong. Now, all you have to do is sneak up behind her and administer a choke interact, but a drop will not do it, and you cannot sleep dart her.
You're dead. What do I smell here? River mud, northern spices, wood smoke, done wall. No, no, no! Not back to sleep! Oh, go. I won't give it back!
And we have rescued Alexandra Hypatia.
Doctor,
Yes. I'm sorry. Something's not right with me.
That's putting it mildly.
Maybe I contracted something working with infectious samples.
no, someone was poisoning you. But you should be better now. I found some alchemical notes and made a counter serum.
Poisoning me?
Don't worry, I'm going to take care of it. If you need a place to lay low for a few days, come find us. I'm staying with an ally on a boat called the Dreadful Whale.
Which you will somehow be able to find. Alright, that is all that we need to do here in this lab. And why is it telling me to go to recuperation? Oh, that's right. We have to play this audiograph in order to find out where Anton Sokolov is.
The old man is with Kieran Jindosh, who's prying him apart, digging out all his secrets.
Oh, don't worry. We will pay Jindosh a visit shortly. Okay, I believe that should account for all but a handful of enemies on the map. One or two possibly down here at the docks. Yeah, there's the dead guard. Where's the, oh, there's the roamer. Okay. And before we go down and deal with them, let's blink back up here. And actually aim properly. That's going to send the elevator crashing down into the basement, which will grant us access to it. And I did that last because obviously that's extremely noisy, and it would most certainly alert any guards nearby. It will even alert the ones that are outside that back door.
They'll need new boots after this.
That gets us painting. Now, Dishonored players who are keen on their lore might know who Veramore is. If you're familiar with the first game, that is the real name, or at least was at one time the real name, of Granny Rags. And that there was her diary and presumably her rune. I won't go through the text of it on screen, but you are welcome to pause and read that if it interests you. I'm just going to make a quick pass through the level, but if nothing of interest comes up, then I will skip straight to our next step. Okay, nothing of note was missed. So let's get this watchtower turned off. I'm going to be extremely careful with the whale oil tank because, as I mentioned in the first episode, out of all of my deaths in Dishonored, by far, falling damage and whale oil tanks are the leading cause of death. Good night, buddy. And with the watchtower down, Megan should be pulling up here.
I'll lay low until you're finished.
Oh, we're finished. Let's get the hell out of here.
Can we leave this place yet? I don't like it. Ready now?
Yes. Let's head out for the dreadful whale.
What happened?
Hypatia was the crown killer.
That's impossible.
The Duke tricked her into injecting herself with a flawed version of her serum. It changed her, but there was an antidote, so she'll live. If she remembers the murders, she'll have to deal with that.
And Sokolov?
He's been moved to the house of a man named Kiran Jindosh.
The Duke's grand inventor. Supposedly brilliant.
Another genius. Just what we needed.
And yes, as expected, we've got a handful of kills tallied on there, including that extremely unnecessary civilian kill that was just a misclick. Not too fussed about the stealth aspect. And we've got every last one of the collectibles and most of the coins. As for special actions, I mentioned that I was grabbing some bits of evidence. Well, that's for the 3 witnesses action there. And that way we are fully backed up on our allegations about Hypatia. Not that it particularly matters to the outcome of the game, it's just, you know, it's a nice thing. The counter serum, we of course gave her that and freed her. We made our way into the abandoned basement, and there calls out Vera Moray by name. And we, well, technically released the hounds, but, well, yeah, the less said about that, the better. Anyway, let's move on. And after a good night's sleep, we wake up refreshed in our quarters on the dreadful whale, ready to set out in search of Anton Sokolov, who we've learned is being held by Kiran Jindosh, the genius inventor of the Clockwork Soldiers, and apparently one of Delilah's allies. Needless to say, we want to bring back Sokolov safe and sound, and find a low-chaos way to neutralize Jindosh and his toy soldiers while we're at it. Apart from gathering a handful of items on the dreadful whale, our next step is to talk to Megan before heading out on the skiff, and since we already did mission stats, we'll get right to that in the next episode. Now, you might have noticed that I haven't spent any of the runes we picked up in this mission, and there's a very good reason for that. We found an incredibly powerful bone charm, Spirit Water, and that means that bone charm crafting has jumped to the top of the priority list. In order to make the most of it, we're going to want to max it out. The trait synergy upgrade allows us to effectively quadruple the power of a single bone charm, but to reliably make 4x charms without corruption, we're going to need to take both witchcrafting upgrades. That's going to require 2 more runes, and fortunately, we'll be able to acquire those very early on in the next mission. It's going to be an incredible game changer, and I'm excited to put it to work, so I hope you will join me for that next Friday. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe and click the notify bell if you haven't already, so that you don't miss a thing. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.